Okay, so one of the most interesting trends here isn't about prison, it's about what happens afterwards.
Yes, yes. And this might be the most important shift that's happening, actually. So you've got states like New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Michigan, and they focus on compliance credits. So this is reducing probation or parole time for people who can keep a job and stay employed. They complete various like rehabilitation programs, maybe drug treatment programs, that kind of thing, and avoid other kinds of violations.
And this raises a very practical question. If someone is doing everything right, why keep them under supervision?
Yes, exactly. And research suggests that long supervision can actually increase technical violations. So shortening it can actually improve outcomes. I mean, not to mention, of course, the enormous expense. I mean, we haven't really mentioned how expensive prison is, but the vast amount of money that the United States spends on keeping people locked up. And then all of this sort of post-release monitoring as well, all very, very expensive. So if you can reduce that, you're saving the taxpayer as well.
Yes, I think if most people understood how much of our taxes go to keeping people in prison, they would have a little bit of a different tone, especially
Yeah.
with the tones that have been toning this year with how our tax money is getting spent over here. So,
Exactly.
politically, this is kind of an easier sell than early prison release, but let's bust a myth here. This isn't just happening in blue states.
No, no, it's not. And that's probably one of the most interesting things about this. You've got states like Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arizona, Nebraska. They're all advancing these sentence credit policies, often tied to things like education, literacy, work programs.
Okay, so the difference here isn't whether to use credits, but it's how.
Exactly. So your conservative states tend to favor sort of very tightly program-based credits. Liberal states are more open to sort of broader structural changes.
Let's talk legislative reality here because not every bill makes it.
No, no, it doesn't. And this is where Bill Track 50, of course, is incredibly useful because you can use our wonderful little chevrons to see exactly how bills are advancing or stalling, whether they're already dead. But the pattern is clear here, as with so many other topics. Targeted, practical bills are much more likely to pass. Sweeping reforms, much harder to get through. So here are some examples that seem to have some quite strong momentum. You've got Iowa's HF 570, Pennsylvania's HB 1042, Louisiana's HB 111, and meanwhile, the broader overhaul bills are often failing at the first hurdle.
Okay, so incremental change is winning the day. Let's zoom out. What does all of this mean?
Well, it means that states are quietly recalibrating punishment. So it's not by announcing massive reforms, but just bit by bit expanding incentives, rewarding this progress, shortening supervision times, and restoring sort of credit programs.
So instead of saying we overdid punishment, maybe we shouldn't be doing it this way, let's take a new step. They're saying maybe we can fine tune it in tiny little ways, and over time it'll maybe get a little bit
Yeah.
better.
Exactly. So reform through adjustment, not revolution. And it's politically speaking, it's a very good approach to take. So over here, for example, recently our prisons were all full. Literally, we had not one single prison space in the country. And so the government, in a massive crisis, had to release a load of prisoners early. And so they took people and they tried to choose people, obviously, who were not a threat to society and release them. So they had to release all of these people. What happened, of course, is then that the press in particular was focused on these people. And as soon as one of them committed a crime, it was like, aha, look, the government's letting all these criminals out to murder and rape and so on. So, and that's going to happen because that's what happens. We know that the reoffending rates are very high. So people you let out, even if they look safe, they are going to reoffend. And politically, that's very difficult to handle. So these smaller reforms, they're much, much safer from that political point of view.
Yeah, and hopefully they also actually are able to make a change. So, what should listeners take away from this today?
Well, sentence credits are becoming one of the main tools that states are using to reshape criminal justice because they affect how long people stay incarcerated, how long they remain under supervision, and whether effort and rehabilitation actually counts. And the big question underlying all of this is simple but powerful. If someone is doing everything right, how much extra punishment is the system really getting from keeping them locked up longer?
And this is not just a policy question, it's a values question, and it's who we are as a nation and how we support our people.
Exactly, exactly. Yes. Who do you want to be as a country? And you probably want to be a country that's tough on crime. At the same point, whenever you look at the way people are suffering in prison, the kind of people who go to prison, the massive injustices in the justice system, then yeah, you really do need to take a second look at them.
I do think this is a question that is on everybody's minds these days, is what kind of nation do we want to be out here? All right, so that is all for today's episode of Beyond the Bill Number. If you want to explore these bills yourself,
and trust us, there are a lot of them,
head over to Bill Track 50, where you can track legislation across all 50 states and Congress in real time.
And we'll be back next time with another deep dive into the legislation shaping the country, one bill at a time.